Is it snowing yet?
I think it is now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're kind of near Twin Lakes because there's a national forest on our way up to the film site, but it looks like we're not going to be going all the way up this time. We're about 3,700 feet, and it is just starting to snow.
On the weekend of November 17th through the 19th, Kipp, Morrill, and I attempted to make our way to the Bluff Creek film site. Our plans were twofold. First, to check on the game camps that Rowdy, Steven, Jamie, and myself deployed a month earlier for the Bluff Creek film site camera project. And second, to introduce Kipp to the legendary film site. With winter nipping at our doorstep, we patiently wait for a break in the storm. This is our journey.
So last night, about 9:15, Ranger Leiterman and myself walked this road that we're on right now, that we're currently driving. It was about a mile and a half one way, and so I think Robert figured it to be about 3.2 miles round trip.
Yeah, round trip.
So we made it back about 11 o'clock or 2,300 hours last night. Did some whoops, did some calls, did some wood knocks, lights off, and we did not have any action, I guess. But it was a nice walk. No wind. Mainly kind of partly cloudy skies off and on with the stars. So and no moon. So it kind of made it a little bit difficult to use my Gen 1 and Robert's Gen 3. But we both were mentioning that the therm is the way to go.
So this is like the leeward side. It seems like this side gets a lot of the good ice and stuff.
Wow. On the north.
Check that out. Watch out for the sticks. Or logs.
Pungy.
Well, there's one thing we really have to take consideration on this trip here is it's getting cold and there's snow on the ground, and it's just a matter of time before there's more snow on the ground, and we don't want to be too far from our headquarters, our trailer we have to haul out of here. So we're definitely going to monitor this pretty good. As you can see, it's winter time. It's not even Thanksgiving yet.
On the side there?
It is. Look like people footprints. You said you got some footprints out there. Let's go take a look. A lot of it's melted back, but take a look at this. He's looking at this with disturbances right here.
Right on the edge.
These things here.
That's the snow.
But yeah, these could be bare footprints. Look at this.
Yeah.
There's the toe sections. You see the long part in the back, and you got this little indentation here. There's like an edge. Here, and there's mine here. Notice how it melts out in the heel section, ball of the foot section, because there's an arch in my boot. Leaves it kind of intact. And here's Kipp's boot. Of course, he's 6'3". That's his size. Hey, Kipp, what size?
It's an 11.
Size 11. And here we have this heel impression area. A little wide here, and almost like the toe combination. It's irregular, where it's pretty consistent. So what we need is some very good snow to check. This stuff's been melted back a little bit.
And who was walking out here?
With that barefooted?
I guess, yeah.
Sure.
Well, we saw the truck come through. We saw some tire tracks, but we haven't seen...
That was yesterday.
That was yesterday, probably about 3 o'clock.
Right. You're getting these, almost like this one spot always hanging in there with the possible toe patterns.
Yeah.
Comes in here a little bit in the heel section. So, could be a bear, it's no doubt. Some more along here. Yeah. What we need is better ones that are melted back. And we saw bear earlier on the way up.
Yeah.
We did. We chased a good-sized male, probably a 250, 300 pounder. Chased it off the road.
Doesn't that look bipedal though?
These? It's not unusual on bear tracks to see just like the full sets. Because you know that extra section part that looks like a second tab could be the front foot and then back foot towards the front. That's not unusual for that to happen. So, double tap they call this.
Double tap.
We'll keep our eyes open. That's good. Not saying it's Sasquatch. Pretty narrow heel on those. Here's my stride length right there. And here's this here. There's mine across here. It's my left foot. This looks like it's left foot. And there's my right foot. That's right foot. So my stride length is not as long actually as what I'm looking at here. So it's a little bit longer. So
It's almost even with Mark.
yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. We're looking at another spot. We just drove up a little bit. We were from that direction out that way. And we saw some more. We're going to take a look. And here's another one here. Back to this other spot. Here we go. We have almost like a toe sections right here. If you can see that. Remember that one spot, but there's a stick here giving that away. But this is the part here. And then here's the edge. Right here you can see that edge just cuts down. And here is the heel section. The edge. Definitely a lot larger than that one we're looking at.
Looks more like bear over here now.
Yeah. I have to agree with you on that one. So, but it's nice to see the impressions in the snow. Where here's a little slide mark. Hard to see with this camera. A slide out mark. Again, we're looking at almost like a line and the toe sections towards the front. Yeah. Now these aren't looking like bear anymore. These are looking like a cat or a. This could be cat prints actually. What we're looking at. And as they step through, they kick out snow from the backside. So you know, these could be cat prints.
Wow.
Could be looking at cat prints instead because the ones before are real difficult to determine based on how they look. But these are much better. You can see the ovalish shape, the large size, the impression in the back, almost like this is the pad, the toes. So we could have mountain lion tracks here. These are just kicked out snow right back here from putting the foot down and just kicking it out, taking it out, blowing out the backside. So I'm thinking mountain lion now. Look at these guys. Because of the snow, we just have some kick out action here. There's another one here. Kick out action. But there's the shape of it. Toes. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not seeing 5 toes, we're seeing 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Bears have 5. Cats have 4. You know, Kipp, that also explains the stride length too.
Yeah.
That explains the stride length because their torso is a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So the stride length is going to be a tad bit in that one. But yeah.
So that's a cat.
I think it's a cat. We stopped one more time because we're driving on this road here. 12. What was that, Kipp? 11 in
05?
05-ish. Yeah, past Twin Lakes on the way to Cedar Camp. But we're driving it and we're taking a look at this road here. And again, this is like the third stop looking at these tracks we did. And we got these right here. Kipp's out starting at the beginning part of that. But you can see that line, that trackway that kind of cuts right through here. That's what we're looking at. So these, I say a bit more detail in them, which I like to see. Again, we're looking at 4 toes. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're looking at the ball of the foot. And if it case of mountain lions would be like an M, which would be like a W from our position, which 2 on the bottom and 3 bumps on the top. And these are milled back quite a bit, but look at the size of that. Here's my hand. That's pretty good size. Pushing snow back, and then it steps here again, and then another push steps here and kicks the snow back. So there it is. So there's the stride length. So now it looks like when they melt together, look like people's footprints. So what's my stride length? I step here, and I step here.
Pretty close.
I step back, and we got, here's my stride length. Remember we said it was pretty close to what we had? And here's our stride length. Melted back, and here's the other part of the stride length. So Kipp, we talked earlier about these tracks and stuff. I remember we talked about how it looked like it was a boot wearing a heel at first.
Yeah.
Because it was melted in the front, then melted in the back.
Right.
Well, here's a prime example of this. The mountain lion tracks.
Melted out.
Melted out in the back, melted out front, leaving the ridge across. But see what we talked about? These are prime. 3 little bumpies, 2 little bumpies in here, and 4 toes. So here's a measurement. So in a way, like I said earlier, things melt back so quickly. Its snow prints are difficult to really make heads or tails out of sometimes.
Then you get these over here that are much more cat-like.
Yeah, these are pretty noticeable here. These haven't melted back yet. These are like frozen in pretty good. Yeah, and there's none on that side over there.
No.
These are over here. These crossed over, disappeared under the tire tracks, and here they go again, redisappearing.
And here they are in the middle.
Crossing in the middle, and they're making their way. La la la, just down the road. All right, good score, Kipp.
Yeah, cool.
As long as we hang in there and try to investigate, figure it out, and look for that perfect track, you learn a lot from that.
It's not the small Sasquatch that maybe some people would mistaken it for.
Would have thought at this point.
That's right.
So when you think of first impressions are always important. We look over, we see it, we think, yeah, it's a Sasquatch track. Then you got to look at it. It was what lives here. We saw bears earlier yesterday, so we're thinking, okay, first we thought it was a bear because we saw bears. The stride length was a bit longer than bear stride length, so we're wondering, And we looked at our stride length, and we're thinking, well, it's close to ours. Then farther down the road we went, looking at other things. Then we figured out that I think it's cat. This confirms it back here, which is cool. That's what it's all about. You get out in the woods, look at sign, look at track, check it out. Go out in the wintertime, bring extra stuff, watch the weather, but it's a beautiful time out here. I'm glad Kipp and I are out here. This is great.